5 whiskeys that I regret buying. What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome back to the channel. Truth be told, there's plenty of times where we think we're gonna have one experience, no matter what we buy, no matter what we like, whatever the case is, and we buy something, and we're just let down by that. Doesn't mean that that product's bad at all. Just means I regret buying it, and I will not be buying another one. All right, so kicking this one off, Basil Hayden Toast. This particular bottle was one that, for me, I actually was excited about. Basil Hayden is a bottle, the original Basil Hayden, is a bottle that for me got me into whiskey. It made me just realize that a whiskey can be approachable. The regular Basil Hayden bourbon was one that I gravitated towards when I first got into the whiskey game, right? It did what it needed to do at the time. You know, a lot of people, now I hear people say that it lacks flavor and blah, 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 all this other stuff. But again, at 80 proof, for what that bottle was supposed to be, it was a cool looking bottle. I spent more on it than I traditionally had on whiskey at the time. I could put it over rocks. I could drink it neat. It made me feel like I elevated my game. So I have nothing against Basil Hayden at all. I love toasted bourbons. So for me, this was one that I was really excited about. And then when I got a chance to try it, I was just a little let down. I felt like there were some artificial notes in there for me. I've met people that like this and enjoy it, just as is with all these whiskeys on this list. There's going to be whiskeys that people enjoy that I don't, just like there's food people enjoy that I don't. It's all good. Doesn't make this a bad whiskey, doesn't make any of these a bad whiskey. It just means I regret buying it. All right, next up on the list comes from High West. This is the American Prairie Bourbon. Now, this is actually a store pick from one of my local liquor stores here in Indianapolis. It's a limited release, all these things. It's, you know, fancy bottles, got glitter and everything. Probably one that I need to revisit, honestly. You know, you can see how much I've drank. Not that much. I opened it up, tried it, and it just was not for me at all. Now, this is actually a blend of bourbons, and it's finished in a rye barrel. It is a limited release. It's got all the fancy words on there. It's at least 2 years old. This is what it is age stated at on the label. So, young whiskey that maybe we try to cover up with a finish. I don't know what it was, but this particular one was not for me at all. All right, next up on the list, sorry Jim Beam to hit you twice. Little Book, specifically chapter 4. I actually got a chance to try Little Book 1 through 3. You know, 1 was just exciting to see something new, and you know, whatever the case was. 2 I thought wasn't bad. 3 though is for me personally where I felt like, man, like the game has changed now. And here's a product from Jim Beam that is hitting on all cylinders. I absolutely love chapter 3. So when I came across chapter 4, it was a no-brainer that, like, yes, all the rest of them have been great. Let's give this one a shot. For me, this one fell short, really not even as a whiskey. And I know I keep saying this, but it's so true. It's a taste preference. They used rice whiskey in this, and that for me is what carries it over. The notes are more like soy sauce, and like it reminds me of like rice, of some type of rice meal. And I don't know, there's something there. There's a different note for sure. It was way different. Now, 3 was a combination of bourbons from Baker's, bourbons that are used in Knob Creek, bourbons that are used in Basil Hayden's. I saw that this was different, and Little Book, to be fair, is their experimental batches. So they're going to change things up from year to year. So again, no hate to Jim Beam at all. It's just that this one for me was just, not only did I not agree with the taste preference and the profile there, but coming off of chapter 3, I was just disappointed in this one. All right, next one up on the list actually comes to us from Woodford Reserve. This is the Cherrywood Smoked Barley Masters Collection from Woodford. Again, here's another experimental deal. So I probably should learn my lesson from all these experimental deals, but it just was one at the price point that it was. To put this in perspective, I actually bought this bottle right as I was getting ready to graduate with my master's degree. So I wanted a really nice bottle that, you know, cost a little bit more just to celebrate with. And luckily, I bought a few different bottles during that trip. This one, I just expected a little bit more. I knew the Woodford name. I liked Woodford. I liked Double Oaked. I liked a lot of the things they were doing. The Cherrywood Smoked Barley was not for me. Now, I've posted this on social media and said that this is a bottle that I regret buying, especially because of that price point. And there's been plenty of people that comment underneath that are like, well, send it to me then. I'll take care of it for you, whatever the case is. If you live in the Indy area and you want to come by and grab it, you can have it. You know, it's just one of those ones, again, not only profiling this one online, but again, for that dollar amount, man, I wish I would have been able to try this one first before I ever bought it, so that I would know. And this is where we learn a valuable lesson. Maybe try some of those expensive whiskeys before you buy them. And last but not least, the opposite of the expensive whiskey side, Old Tub. Sorry, Jim Beam. I actually do love Jim Beam. There's a lot of products that I do love. The Old Tub, oh man, it tastes like an Old Tub. I don't know. It's something about it that just did not sit well with me. To put this in perspective, this was one from my understanding at least, was a distillery exclusive. It was one that was only available there, and then during 2020, when things kind of halted, it then got distributed. I don't know if this was the same one that was in the distillery or a different version. I don't know, but I know that people love Old Tub, and so I got excited about it, and it was a $20 bottle-ish, somewhere around that range, and then it was on sale for like $12.99 or something like that I got it for. I don't even remember the price. It was somewhere in that range, and even then, this is the opposite of the Woodford deal. I spent little bit of money, and I still regret it, just because I'll never drink this. I mean, it just is not for me. If somebody comes over and asks for something they can mix with Coke or whatever, here you go, knock yourself out. Again, same type of deal. I'm sure it's gonna be the case with all these. Somebody somewhere loves these. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, try things for yourself, figure it out if you like it or not. That's what's important. I'm just telling you from my perspective, because that's all I can do. And this particular one, man, Old Tub and I have a weird relationship. I could see how people do like it. There's certain notes in there. I get almost like a cherry cola, and I know people chase that note, so there's certain aspects to this that I could see why. Again, just did not align with what I enjoy in a whiskey, and that's okay. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Thank you so much for all your support in all of these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.